family of plants are known as bioaccumulators. They tend to soak up the heavy metals in their environment. And what can happen is that these heavy metals can then seep into the end CBD product, right? So some of the heavy metals that I'm referring to are metals such as arsenic, cadmium, lead, mercury, right? And they can be in toxic levels. These heavy metals can be very poisonous. And then finally, you want to ensure that your product has been made with a safe and non-toxic solvent, right? So those include either alcohol or carbon dioxide. Anything outside of that, there is a potential for the solvent to be toxic.
Okay. And the solvent is what they use to extract the CBD from the leaf, correct?
Yep,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And so, patients don't know in terms of milligrams. So they all talk about milligrams. What is considered a strong CBD in milligrams, and what's considered a not so strong CBD?
Yeah, so if we take a tincture, for instance, right? So tinctures are basically drops that you put under the tongue, or medically they're known as sublinguals. If we just take that method of administration, on the market, you'll find anywhere from a low of 250 milligrams in a bottle, in a 1 ounce bottle, all the way up to 3,000 milligrams in a 1 ounce bottle. Though that's a range, but on average, what you'll typically find is anywhere between like 500 to about 1,500 on the market.
Okay. And obviously, the higher the doses, use it for more severe pain, the less for more mild pain.
So here's the interesting thing. I found that there isn't a correlation necessarily. Just to give you an example, let's take a case of insomnia. This has to do with pain. So going back to pain, no, I haven't found a correlation. But when we're thinking about dosing, it's quite interesting. So this case of insomnia that I was about to tell you about, 2 patients, both struggle with insomnia. One patient, they were otherwise healthy. The only thing that they were struggling with was insomnia. Similar body size, similar body shape. Okay, but I recommended to them both the exact same CBD product. One patient needed 0.5 milligrams of CBD to sleep better. The other patient needed 50 milligrams of CBD to sleep better. Both of them had about mild to moderate insomnia, right? It wasn't like they were struggling with it differently. So I have not found a correlation in terms of severity that, these patients who have a level 7 to 9 of pain will need X dose of CBD, or these patients who have a 1 to 3 out of 10 level of pain will need X dose. It's very individual, and I believe this is because the cannabinoids are fat soluble, okay? And the turnover rate that we have for fat cells varies highly from patient to patient. The other thing that I found when I was digging into the medical studies is that it has to do with the cannabinoids are broken down through machinery in your liver known as cytochrome P450, which does tend to be variable from person to person based on their genetics. So those may be some of the factors that may be contributing to the high variability in dose from person to person.
Okay. So when you talk about, the dosing, now you're talking about tinctures, right? The oil.
I'm talking about any form of administration.
Any form. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the most common form? Is it the oil?
That was the product that came on the market first and is most widely utilized.
Okay. And is that the most widely absorbed as well, or are there other better routes of administration?
So, it's difficult to tell in terms of absorption. There isn't really much data in the way of absorption.
Okay.
But what I can tell you is the differences between the different routes. Really, the main variable there is the onset of action and then the duration of action, right? So for those non-medical professionals out there, onset of action is how long it takes for the medication to take effect, and duration of action is how long the effects last. So to walk you through the entire range of administration, inhalation, not a proponent of smoking, but vaping is an alternative to smoking, takes effect within minutes, right? We're talking about 5 to 10 minutes. Under the tongue may take up to an hour to take effect. When it's ingested, it may take up to 2 hours to take effect. Okay. When cannabinoid products are inhaled, the peak effect occurs at about 2 hours, and then it starts to trend downwards from 2 to 4 hours.
Okay.
When we're talking about under the tongue, we're talking about a duration of action of about 4 to 6 hours. When we're talking about ingestion, we're talking about a duration of action of, on average, 6 to 8 hours.
So by ingestion, you mean like the CBD pills?
Yeah, or
Okay.
I mean, sometimes some people take the oil and mix it up with food, and then it's
Okay.
ingested. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So is there one route that you actually recommend versus another?
So it's going to depend on the patient's situation.
So let's talk
Okay.
about back pain, for instance, which is something we see very commonly.
Yeah. So back pain. With back pain, okay. So typically it's chronic, right? It's a dull, achy pain that's ongoing. In that case, there isn't really much of a need for immediate relief, so inhalation is not necessarily a good option. Inhalation is a good option when you need immediate relief.
Such as like migraines or something.
Right.
Okay.
And then, so with back pain, say it's persistent back